introduce myself, my name's Nicole. I'm also a single parent, and so I am juggling mum life, work life, and I'm a personal trainer. But I also worked in the film industry for 17 years, so in stunts. So I've had quite an interesting background. But tonight is all about working on that healthy mindset, making sure you're working on personal growth, which is such an important topic, because as parents, as soon as we have children, our priority goes out the window, and that is what we need to stop happening. Basically, it's so important that you don't pour from an empty cup. So basically, if you've been feeling burnt out or overwhelmed lately, you are not alone. Okay, that is something, especially the last 2 years that we've had, that is something that is, everyone's feeling it. I'm feeling it. We sort of hit January and there was so much uncertainty that it's okay to acknowledge those feelings. So if you're feeling burnt out or anxious, then please just acknowledge those feelings. And there's some tips that I've got that I would love you, if you've got a pen and paper, just write down any notes that you think might really help you. So setting boundaries. Now, this is something that we tend to feel reluctant to do, especially if you're like a people pleaser or a yes person. I hold my hand up. I have do both of them. And it wasn't until about 6 months ago that I realized the power of saying no and setting those boundaries. So, you know, if something isn't servicing you and making you happy, then say no and replace it with something that your time is very, very precious, especially with everything you're spinning those plates. So make sure that your time shouldn't be causing you stress and anxiety if you can control it. So if anything is overwhelming you and you're getting that anxious feeling about attending something or doing something, then say no and replace it with something you really want to do. Okay, so it's important that you're setting those boundaries for yourself. Also, if your mood is feeling low, then implementing some coping mechanisms for that. So if you're feeling anxious and you're feeling like your mood is low, then have some tools in your toolbox that works for you. So that might look like breathing techniques. It might look like some calming music. It might just be simple as stepping away, okay, from whatever it is that's causing you anxiety. And if it is something that it could be a meeting, it could be meeting up with your ex-partner, it could be anything that is building up and you know it's going to be a really stressful time, then make sure that the hour following that is something that you enjoy. Okay, so you're deloading and you're replacing it with a habit that is a happy memory, that is something that is just going to shake everything out. And you know, I put on loud music, I dance around with my little one. You know, it will be your tools that you will find, but it's really important that you have those tools that you really like. Okay, now allow yourself to feel emotions. If you grew up in a household that was like, why are you crying? Stop crying, don't cry. Allow that. If you're feeling upset, cry, because what it does is it releases hormones, it releases that anxiety and that build-up. And I don't know if you ever noticed, if you've got upset, that afterwards you actually feel a release and you feel a lot lighter. So acknowledge any feelings that you have, because that will help with that build up of feeling overwhelmed, and we want to work towards that healthy mindset. So just establishing this, and we will be going into weight loss and we will be going into how to get that body confidence. But if you could change your body, but if you don't take your mind along with it, then you are not going to be happy at the end of it. So it's so important that you work on your mental health as much as your physical health. Okay, a big one, asking for help. Now, we tend to think that people around us are telepathic a lot. I know I do. And instant reaction, if you walk into a shop and the shop assistant comes up to you and they say, do you need any help? You could really need help, but we instantly say, no, 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 I'm fine, thank you, and just carry on. And then afterwards you go, oh, actually, I really do need, where have they gone? I do actually really need to some help. And, you know, you can't take on everything. So if there is anything that you can offload or get support with, don't be afraid to ask for help. And I've certainly learned since being a single parent that actually it's nice and you need that you time. So don't underestimate the power of that you time. You are a priority too, and you aren't just a parent, okay? And happy parent, happy child, it's a cliche, but it's bloody true. It really, really is. So, how do you find that you time in a busy schedule? My biggest tip is to treat your you time and workouts and anything that's a priority to you like you would a business meeting or an appointment, an important appointment like a doctor's appointment. Schedule it in your diary, okay? And if it make it a time that you know you can possibly do. Yes, things may happen. You may not be able to get your children to sleep in time. You may be delayed in traffic, but that can just shift down to exactly where it needs to be, or you can then just move it along the next day that it will work for. So, you know, progress and all that won't be necessarily linear. Expect bumps in the road. You might suddenly have a COVID lockdown, or your child's got a temperature at nursery or school and you have to go and get them. That is completely normal, and you've got to give yourself that grace, okay? So finding that you time needs to be setting yourself achievable goals. There's no point if you've never worked out before, if you've never established a routine, there's no point in straight away going, right, I'm going to work out 6 days a week if you physically know you can't do that, because what you're doing is you're already setting yourself up for failure. And when you do that, that automatically demotivates you, because the amount of times I speak to clients at the end of the week and we've aimed for 4 workouts, 4 30-minute workouts, and they say, oh, I only got in 3, and they're disappointed. And it's like, you got in 3. Let's look at the wins in your week and the fact you managed 3 workouts when you've just explained to me that your child was poorly, that you've not been sleeping much. You know, you've got to look at your week as a whole and find those celebrational wins, okay? And if you did aim for 3 workouts or 3 you know, it could be going for a long walk, or it could be anything that just gets that movement in, and you didn't achieve it, you may have been poorly yourself, then look for other areas in your life where you can be stronger at. And those areas could be water intake. Honestly, the brain fog you can get from not drinking enough water. I know it sounds simple, but seriously, it really helps weight loss. It really helps concentration. So aiming for 2.5 liters a day. If you have a bottle, it really helps. I don't know about you, if you have a glass, you'll forget about it. You'll forget that glass exists, whether you're at work, whether you're at home, it doesn't matter. You just forget about it. And you then also don't remember how much you've drunk. So I find like a litre or a litre and a half bottle that you can just go, great, I've drunk through that twice or whatever, really sets you up. And if you can aim by 9 o'clock, unless you're on shift work, to have drunk a litre, then you're nearly halfway there. Sleep, the holy grail, okay? I understand, because I'm in that conundrum myself. It's like, okay, kids are to bed now. Do I have some you time and stay up late, or do I get an early night? I totally get that conundrum, because I face it myself, and some nights I'm just like, I just want that me time. I'm going to binge on that Netflix series. But when you are feeling, if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling burnt out, if you are feeling as though you're not feeling happy in your body, those early nights, although they may take away some of that escapism, they really help your body to repair, they help your mind to focus, and you wake up the next day just feeling a little bit fresher, a little bit more armed to take on that day, which we all need. I am I suffer from insomnia. And so if anyone else has been struggling with their sleep, put it in the chat box. But some things that have been really helping me is sleep stories. So if you find that your child is waking in the night and then your mind is overactive on anything, having a pen and paper by the bed, offload all those thoughts that are up there are only going to keep rattling around if you don't offload them onto something. So having a note paper by your bed is great, honestly, or use your phone. You can put it in notes, setting reminders as well. If you're replaying something in your head, like, gosh, I'm going to not remember the that meeting, and then you're stressing yourself about because you're not going to remember that meeting, set alarms. That's what I do for the next day. CBD oil has also been huge help for me. I need to see how I can see. Oh, great. I struggle with sleep, especially when, so try CBD oil. I've used Pure Sports. I can only recommend that one. It's an unwind oil, but it just allows you to get into that deeper sleep. Alcohol will affect sleep. So if you're finding you're struggling to sleep, but you've also been drinking wine or anything like that, CBD will help with that. But also, if you're not taking anything like CBD, it's not like it won't knock you out or anything like that. Don't worry, you still wake up to any noises that your little one makes. But alcohol really does affect getting into that deep sleep. So looking at your patterns, if you've had a rubbish night's sleep, ask yourself, did you have alcohol that night before? Look at the patterns that you've been finding that you've been struggling with. Also, to have like calming music. So if I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't get back off to sleep, then I will put on sleep stories. They're great. You've got to find the right voice though. There's some voices that I'm just like, okay, I can't listen to that. But if you find the right one, it really does help. So barely get more than 5 hours less in the daytime after a shift. I do try and use the meditation app, but it doesn't always work. Yes. So that's great that you're using the meditation app. If you try those other tools that I've said, the CBD oil, the sleep stories, digital detox before bed is a great one. It's hard, I know, but just if we can be off our phones for that last hour before bed, it really does help. But lavender spray, the sprays are great. Pillow spray, all stuff like that is absolutely great. But sleep is honestly, if you can focus on one area of life when things are hard, is trying to nail that sleep, which I do appreciate. If the little ones are waking up, it is really, really hard. So also small changes. So small changes add up to big results. You've heard that be said a million times. But what that actually means is if your lifestyle doesn't need to change, if you I don't know if you've ever experienced through maybe a healthy regime, the all or nothing cycle, where you're really restricting yourself, you do really well, and then it stops, and you find that stop-start cycle and you're not making progress. That happens because you are changing too much in your life, okay? And you want to think about it. Don't think about it, which everyone does. So Christmas happens, we have a kickstart in January, that tends to then wean away. It gets to spring, we're like, summer's coming, I'm going to be wearing less clothes. Right, I now need to get into gear. We normally start it a bit late. We then cover up at summer because we don't feel happy with ourselves. We then continue on, and then it's winter now. It's celebration season, it's festive season, and we're back into that cycle. You need to look for the long game, okay? It's 365 days. Let's work to something that is achievable. Okay, so look at your week, not anyone else's lifestyle. If you're being set plans, or you're trying to follow something on Instagram, or someone else's plan, or you're seeing it and you're getting that feeling that you're not doing enough, look at your 24 hours, and you will all have different 24 hours. None of us have the same 24 hours because we've all got different things going on in our life, juggling so many plates. Okay, so look at what you realistically can achieve, and then you can build up to it. So if you've not exercised for a long time, then start with 2 30-minute workouts a week. Okay, or it might be that you don't want to work out, but what the important thing is, it's movement that you enjoy. If you're like, oh, I've got to go and work out now, I hate it, you're not going to do it. And when it's weather like this and it's dark, you are going to be like, oh, I'm just going to sit on the sofa and I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow you'll be like, oh, I'll do it the next day. And then you get to the end of the week, you're like, right, I'll start on Monday, and you've celebrated a weekend and you realize, oh, I feel rubbish on Monday. Oh, and then that cycle of negativity starts talking. You start beating yourself up. That inner voice is a cow sometimes, honestly. Like, that inner voice we need to talk to. Okay, so once you've established what you can achieve and you've put it, say it's those 2 workouts, 3 workouts, and you've put it in your diary that we discussed at the start, where you're scheduling it in, great, that's the perfect start. Then you look at setting yourself a goal. If you don't have a goal, then that motivation is going to be really hard. And the thing about motivation is you can't rely on it. I really, really, really wish I was motivated for every single workout that I go and do, or every single bit of me time, whether it's learning something or, I'm doing a course at the moment and it's putting in those hours to working towards my goal. If I rely on being motivated to do it, it probably won't happen. But the thing is, when you start to see results, or you start to absorb what you're learning, or being creative towards something, that's when the motivation kicks in. Or you might find that your mental health has improved, or you're starting to see weight loss results. That's when you go, okay, I get this now. I'm going to keep doing this. So that's why our enemy is relying on motivation solely. You're not going to do it. So that's why it's important that we enjoy what we're doing and we set ourselves a goal that we work towards. So say, for example, your sport is running and you're working your way up. You're just jogging. Set yourself a target of maybe doing a park run somewhere at some point, but don't be a park run next month if you haven't started running yet. Set it for like maybe 5 months time or 6 months time, and you can build yourself up slowly. And there's plans online, or if it's you want to feel stronger, great. Let's make sure those weights are challenging us. If those weights are like this, and you can, as a good guide, if you're doing home workouts and you think, how do I know if I'm being challenged enough? If you can do 12 reps easily, those weights are too light. And the problem is, you see so many of these workout programs that are like, grab a bottle of water from home, or a can of beans. And it's like, your children weigh more than that. Probably all of your children weigh more than that. So we want to challenge ourselves, because change happens when you challenge yourself. So you really want to make sure that you are, if you're resistance training, that you're enjoying it, and you want to, if funds allow, move up those weights as soon as you can. If funds don't allow, increase those reps, okay? Or time under tension. I've got a strength program that's exactly what we do. And I want you to feel empowered by, at the end of the program, you're armed with the tools where you can go off and do it yourself. But I want you to feel that confidence and strength that comes with lifting heavy. Like, you don't want to rely on something when a delivery comes that you have to go and get help to bring it in. You can do that yourself. You've been there when suddenly your child throws a tantrum and suddenly you've got the shopping bags on you, the child, the buggy you're carrying, and you're dripping with sweat. But when we need to, we pull it out the back. So we just want to make our day-to-day life more functional. Please say in the comments who is struggling with weight loss, and I will start to talk about that a lot more. It's good. I'd love you to know what brought you to this mostly, and then I will start tailoring this talk to make sure you guys are getting the most out of this. So please feel free to put in the comment box. Body confidence. Let's just address that. Now, I don't know if any of you follow Mel Robbins. I love her. She has a thing called the High Five Habit. If you haven't read the book, it's brilliant. And she's also got some podcasts, and it's great, because what happens is we have that negative self-talk. We all do it. We look in the mirror and we will always have that one area that we focus on. It might be your tummy, it might be your arms, your legs, but we all do it. And if we started a new weight loss program, then you might get to, say, week 2 or 3 and get frustrated, because we want instant results. We're like, I've been eating this, I've been working out hard, why can I not see it? Well, firstly, you will be the last to see it. So patience is your best friend. When it comes to any new healthy regime, any fitness program, patience is what stops most results happening, because we get frustrated. We then go, I've been good, sod it, this weekend I'm going all out. And what happens is your weekend starts on, say, Friday, and it might go into the Monday, but even if it doesn't, that's 40% of your week. So 40% of your week, you're not focused on towards your goals. So if you're finding that you're overly restricting yourself during the week, and then you get to the weekend and you are then, wow, all is allowed, anything's to go, I'm getting on that alcohol, I'm eating that rubbish food, what you're doing is you're just doing this with your progress. Okay, so what you need to do is allow, if you're cutting out like chocolate in the week, no alcohol, no all this, and you're craving it so that you get to the weekend that you're binging, then you need to allow yourself small amounts in the week, so you don't get to that stage when you're suddenly like, I need this. Also, if you find yourself using food or alcohol as reasons when you're stressed to your emotions, so if you're stressed, if you're upset, if you're frustrated, and you go, or as a reward, if you say, well, I deserve it, I'm going to treat myself now to some alcohol or some food, then what you need to do is, when you're feeling happy, don't do this when you're feeling sad, write down, okay, what your go-to is that isn't food, or something that you really enjoy that is nice to you. It might be a face mask, it might be a pedicure, it might be playing a computer game, it might be something that unwinds you. It will be individual to you, and you can write this down. Something that you do when you feel stressed that you know is going to make you less stressed. When you feel sad, what picks you up? It might be putting on old school tunes and having a dance around, or watching your favorite movie. But if you start replacing those thought processes and those habits with things that aren't alcohol, eventually you won't crave that. Okay, and that is what normally starts getting everybody off track, because it's those cravings that you then derail your progress. So when you're looking in the mirror, you are getting to that week 4, and it will be someone else that says, you look like you've lost weight, what have you been doing? And then you start to see it a little bit yourself, but it won't be you at the start. So patience with yourself. Take photos, okay? Because what I don't want you to do is be the scales. I don't want you to be a slave to the scales. Because if I said to you tomorrow, what you could look exactly how you'd like, the image has to be of you, not of some Victoria's Secret model or some Men's Health cover photo. If you look at the image has to be something that is achievable for you, okay? Your structure, but at your weight goal needs to be a physique goal, okay? That is achievable, but realistic. So if you're 20 stone and in next month you want a six pack, that's not realistic, okay? But you can lose on average, you know, steady weight loss is about 1.5 pounds a week. But what I don't want you to do is care about what you weigh. The reason this is, I've got people on my program who have lost inches, visible inches, and they weigh the same at the end. So I'd like to ask you, if you could look your goal physique tomorrow, but you're going to weigh the same as you do now, do you care? If you're saying, no, I don't care, let me look like that, then stop holding your worth and value in what the scales say. Okay, because you can't expect them. So many factors affect what the scales say. Stress, sleep, which we've spoke about, hormones, your salt intake, your diary, your dietary, and your movement. So weight loss is essentially a calorie deficit, which is energy balance. Balance in, balance out. Now, calorie counting is a great tool for weight loss and having days of lower calorie intake without excessive overload. Yep, absolutely. Calorie counting is a good tool, but it can, if it's not long-term sustainable. So it's a good tool for you to understand exactly what foods are, understanding what food is basically, and seeing food as fuel. Okay, if we don't want to see food as good and bad, because that's when we put power into food. Okay, so it's seen as fuel. So a good tracking app, if you do want to start tracking, is MyFitnessPal. Has most brands already in there. So if you've grabbed something from Tesco, you could put in Tesco yogurt, da, 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 and it will probably come up, which is already there. It's a good short-term tool for you to understand, because sometimes we could be like, I'm eating really, really healthy here. Why am I not losing weight? But you could be eating a bag of cashew nuts. You could be eating lots of high fats or good food, but you could be eating too much. Your portion sizes could be overloading those plates, could be eyes down for the full house. There's nothing wrong in stopping when you feel satisfied. I think I definitely grew up in a household where it was, you keep eating. You just keep eating till the plate's gone. Even though you're full, you just keep going. And that descended into my adult life. So looking at those portion sizes and thinking, okay, I've had enough now. I'm going to box this up for lunch tomorrow. Lunch at work with Huel, which has helped. Yeah. Chocolate, wine, and cheese. Yes, the good stuff, right? So don't deprive them if that's what you like. But if you know you're going to go in for a big binge, then restricting yourself a little bit, and making sure that you've got snacks that you like available that are a healthy balance as well. Because making some small swaps, if you're an evening snacker, for example, I love, if you find yourself reaching for crisps in the evening after dinner, then looking at swapping it for popcorn is a great swap. There's some salted caramel popcorn. I don't know if any of you have had it, but it is amazing. So it's making sure that you're just making small swaps that make a massive difference. So if you find you're reaching for the chocolate all the time, then grenade bars are great. They taste amazing, but they're like 17 grams less sugar, and you've got the 17 grams of protein in there, or 20 grams of protein. So you're getting that protein, and protein is king if you're tracking your calories. So if you're looking for some healthy snacks, then think about something like Baby Bell and apple, or oatcakes with some peanut butter on it, or some yogurt with some berries. So mixing and matching stuff like that is a great little things to have available. I find eating salad at work for lunch rather than a sandwich means I get less hungry in the afternoon. Honestly, if you feel like you are loading up, like roasted vegetables are so easy to do. You can just pop them in the oven, and they are great at literally adding to anything. Most lunches, you can even put them in soup if you want to, or just grab a soup from like one of those ready-made soups and then add your own protein into it. So it might be some ham, it might be some shredded chicken. You know, that is a great go-to lunch that is giving you all the nutrients, all those vegetables, all those and your protein hit. So if you are struggling, a great tip is just to do a food diary and look at not just one day, look at it across 3 days, writing down initially everything you eat. And I mean everything, because you might surprise yourself. Even like you start putting in a load of olive oil, that's, you know, it's like suddenly 50 calories. It's ridiculous when you actually put it into that Fitness Pal app, where you see suddenly, oh, it does all add up. So if you do want to track, but if you don't want to track, just write down everything. So because you will forget that you've eaten it. And then suddenly, because I do it, I go, oh, all I did was had this, this, and this. And then you're like, oh, I did have that as well. Yeah, and I did have that. Oh, and that. So it is a really good way of looking to see if you are overeating. If you're at work or in a situation and you're trying to reduce your sugar and you're trying to eat less chocolate, accountability to yourself. So if there's a tub of like celebrations, make sure that you keep the wrappers on your desk so you can physically see how many you've eaten. So if you set yourself, say, I'm only going to eat 5, then keep those wrappers on your desk, because otherwise what happens is we just do this, don't we? And we chuck the wrappers and we've got no clue. And before we've realized we've eaten the whole biscuit pack or the whole chocolate box. So it's just little tools that you can have if you are struggling with the nutrition side of things. So Mel Robbins, I went off track because I was asking you guys what you wanted to. The high 5 habit. So it is about walking. There's science behind this, that if you walk into the bathroom, and I challenge you all to do this next time you walk into your bathroom or you're near a mirror. Physically, and it sounds cheesy, okay, physically high 5 yourself in that mirror, because you can't, there's something that happens in your brain, and I've done it because I was like, this is rubbish, right? You can't, when you're high 5ing yourself, think negative thoughts. It's really hard to do, okay? So when you walk in, it's high 5ing yourself, and then we start the gratitude practice and we start those positive thoughts. So I want you to get into the habit of walking into the mirror, high 5ing yourself, and then listing some positive things about yourself and just saying them out. You might just have them, you might just want to say, oh, do you know what? I'm a really good mum, I'm a really good dad. I really like this about me. I really like, and say some things about your body that you like. When you look in the mirror, say what you like, okay? So building that relationship with yourself. If you start the day with positives, guess what? It descends down into the day. If you start the day feeling negative, you are going to think negative, you are going to act negative, and you're going to feel your mood just drop down. Okay, so it is about just getting into those daily habits. And do you know what? Don't knock something until you try it. When I first, I've been one of these. I've never had a diary in my life. When I went through my separation, I found that getting a journal, and I just started writing down, even if you're not one of these, that if you're finding yourself, you know, you're struggling with things going on in your life at the moment, if you're thinking, I couldn't ever write something down, not in an official book or something, do a burn, okay? So you get a scrap piece of paper, you write it all down, with caution, of course, but set light to it. and burn that. Okay, so it's just saying goodbye to that negativity. You've offloaded it out of your head, because otherwise what happens is it just spins it around. If you're looking for some book recommendations, if you find that you're an overthinker, then I'm just trying to think, it's here, I'm trying to think of the author. So The Untethered Soul is a great book. It's Michael A. Singer. So if you find that you're an overthinker, this is about taking away those thought, basically. I know this sounds crazy, but honestly, this has been an absolute game changer for me. So we all have that inner voice in us, and it tells us everything. But what we don't realize is it's just a thought, and it's a pattern, and it's a habit. And actually, if you can step back and go, like feeling anxious, like feeling anything, this is just a thought that's coming to my head. But because have you ever had an argument with yourself where you're like, it's a one-sided argument because you're trying to, it's exhausting, overthinking. Yes, it absolutely is. Because what you're trying to do is, and especially if you're frustrated by something, you're like, and this, and this, and this to yourself in your head. So you're just creating a problem that keeps going around with no exit, because then you'll think of something else. And before you know it, you're getting that tension headache. And before you know it, you are overthinking it all. And sometimes it's a problem that may not even happen, and we're overthinking it. This helps you to unpack all that and realize that it's basically it's taking those thoughts and recognizing for what they are. So yeah, I thoroughly recommend this if you're an overthinker. Untethered Soul. If you're going through any traumatic time in your life, The Gift is a great book. I thoroughly recommend The Gift. And that before bed can also help you just to switch off. So it's not something digital. It just helps you to unwind, because it's so important that you look after your mental health. Far more important than anything else. Let me just check on this. Okay, so if you're looking to lose weight and you don't know where to start, I don't know if any of you have joined a gym and then you may as well just burnt your cash every single month. If you making sure that whatever you set yourself is actually something you want to do and you can physically do. Because I don't know about you, when I had my daughter as a gym bunny previously, I don't have the time to get in the car, travel for 20 minutes, then get inside, do my workout, then change, then come home. If you don't have that 2-hour window already, do not sign up for that gym. Okay. The power of 10-minute workout, a 20-minute workout, a 30-minute workout counts. So if you've got young children and you are thinking, I don't have time, and you're struggling for time, it's okay for your workout to be interrupted. Don't not start it because you think, oh, I'm never going to get this in, because then you never get a workout in. Because how often do you think, oh, they've woken up now, but actually I would have got 40 minutes in there instead. So, if you can, go stop. The amount, Sophia was little, the amount of workouts that got, obviously I don't know how old your kids are, so I'll just quickly brief over, if you've got really young ones, if you've got kids at school, and then if you've got older ones, how you can incorporate fitness into your home lives. So if they're really, really young, do you know what? We automatically think, oh, I can't do a workout when they're tiny, tiny babies, but actually you can. Sophia loved me creating shapes in front of her and some movement, some nice music on, and doing my workout. You can still interact with them. So you're still engaging. They're on the floor with their play gym or doing what it is. And that 20 minutes, you get your workout in, you feel amazing. So don't dismiss it because your little one is there. You're still engaging with them. You can talk to them. They see you doing shapes, squats, all that. If you're making their bottle, do squats whilst you're doing it. You know, there's nothing reason that it has to be a set workout. You can just get some movement in. If you're trying to build up strength every time you go and make a coffee, this is for everybody, you could try and do 10 push-ups, or, you know, there's ways to get movement in without it being an official workout. Setting yourself little challenges. If your kids are slightly older, so I found when Sophia, so I did morning lives on Instagram with my 2-year-old through lockdown. It's interesting. There's a lot where she's climbing, and I just get her involved, but she's so used to it. And establishing that healthy routine for your kids, you want to live longer for them. You want to feel fitter for them. You want to have more energy for them. So don't be afraid to put yourself and prioritize that time for you. Okay. It's okay to switch the TV on if that means that you can get your 20-minute workout in. Why not? You know, that is important for you to be fitter, stronger, and healthier. If you're feeling more confident in yourself as a result of that, that TV time is brilliant. Okay, so using those tools, it might be, you know, setting themselves up a craft activity so that you know that you've got 20 minutes and that's it. You could follow a workout program online. There's loads of them. So it's finding things that fit into your lifestyle. If they're older, get them to join in if they want to. Establishing that healthy routine young is great. Or, you know, it doesn't have to be a workout. It could be a family activity at the weekend. You could just be kicking a ball around in the garden, but it gets you all out. Or a thing I do on my program a lot, which is really easy for you to set up, is called the dice game. All you need is 2 dice. You can have 7-minute workouts is great. Yeah, 10-minute workouts. So you can set your time. So it could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay. Put that on a timer. Get 2 dice. Write down kids' movements on a big piece of paper. So it might be, so you need to write down the number 2 to 12. You can put squats, push-ups for yourselves. The kids could be jumping jacks, hopping, anything, hula hoops, wiggling, whatever you think they'll find fun. You roll the first dice, that's the number of the move. You roll the second dice, that is how many reps you do of that move. You set the timer and you just go. Okay, you get the kids moving, they're doing something fun, you're doing the harder workout, and they normally start laughing at you because you're like, 12 more reps, and it's out of your control as well. So it might be push-ups that you set yourself. You roll that, and then the second time you roll it, it's push-ups again, and they're doing their star jumps or jumping jacks. So you can, it's very easy, and you can do that with a lot of things. So if you're suddenly like feeling defeated because you haven't managed to get that workout in that you thought would be a workout, get the kids involved. Turn it into your time. Turn their time into your time. Okay, get them involved. They find it fun, and you then feel satisfied because you've got that workout in that makes your mood better, that makes you feel confident in yourself. Another thing that I'd love to say to you guys is the power. I work like 90% of the time, my mum bun is in, so my hair's just scraped up. I'm wearing the leggings every day, a sports vest, and you know, I get to the weekend, you're in PJs, you then get dressed, maybe you just go out. The power of getting dressed up, the power of wearing and getting yourself, treating yourself to a new shirt if you're a man, or a nice dress if you're a lady, putting on some makeup, or getting your hair done. When was the last time you got your hair done or haircut? It makes you feel renewed. It makes you feel fresh. So if you're feeling low, if you're not feeling good about yourself, get yourself zhuzhed up, even if you're not going anywhere, because the power of reminding yourself who you are is so, so important. Okay. And it's writing down. So if you're feeling stuck at the moment, if you're feeling like you're really unmotivated, what that tells me is that you've stopped prioritizing your own growth. And what happens when we start prioritizing our own growth is we put everyone else before ourselves. We then get frustrated because we're putting everyone else before ourselves, even though we're creating that ourselves. And how we unstuck ourselves and get out of that rut is we grab a pen and we write down exactly what we'd like to do. Okay, then we write an action of, well, okay, maybe it is that I'm feeling body confident and that's why I'm feeling low. Maybe it's because I'm feeling like I'm not achieving anything work-wise. Okay, what would I like to do? And then set out an action plan. Set out goals that are like 3 months, 6 months. So a short-term goal, a intermediate goal, and a long-term goal. So end of the year, what would you, where would you really like to be? And then you write down, okay, so to achieve that, this month I need to do this. Okay, and build it up slowly. So if it's a weight loss goal, for example, then say, great, right, I would like to feel better in my clothes, more confident in myself by the summer. Now, 12 weeks is a great realistic target to feel real change. What you don't want to do is do something where you over restrict, you get those results in a month's time, and then you've changed so much in your life that actually it's not sustainable and everything comes back on, and then you restart it again a month later, and that's where we do that stop start progress. Setting yourself, okay, I look at the next week ahead, okay, I can fit 2 workouts in, that's what I'm going to do. The following week I might be able to fit 3. Let's try for 3. Schedule it into your diary, and by the end of the 12 weeks I would, not a weight loss goal, but I would like to feel like this, and write down that, rather than I want to lose a stone. Because what happens is you become so fixated on that scale changing that you're not thinking about all those factors that I discussed with the sleep, the hormones and all that. You won't be taking factor into your cycle, and that makes a massive impact, and suddenly we realize, oh, that's why, and we haven't realized, even though it occurs every single month and we forget about it. So that's why I want it to be how you feel. I want to feel like my skin feels good. I want to, so, if it's your skin getting you down, a little bit of investment in some good skincare products. You should treat yourself like you would your kids. If they've got a problem, you get it fixed, don't you? So if there's something that's really bothering you, if it's your skin, let's invest in some skincare products that is tailored for your skin. So maybe for free, you can walk into like Space NK, for example. They will do a free consultation on your skin and advise you of what to do, and then you can go and source those products elsewhere. You don't have to commit to buying anything, but walking in somewhere like that helps. It's important that you, whatever your goal is, wherever it can be, business, it can be fitness, that you are setting yourself those goals, because that's what's going to keep you going in on those days that you don't want to do something. So for example, I've set myself, so I hadn't run since I had my daughter, and I signed up for a half marathon last October, and I trained for it and did it, and I was running 3 times a week for that goal. Guess what? Since I finished that in October, I've not run once. Why? Because I don't have a goal to work towards. That's why it's important that you set yourself a challenge, and it might be something that you want to partner up with someone, rope a friend in to do it with you, because then you've got accountability for a start. You've also got that feeling that you don't want to let them down. It's funny, isn't it? We let ourselves down all the time, but when it's someone else, we don't want to let them down. So if that is you and you're listening going, oh, that's me, rope someone else in, okay? Sign them up to the challenge that you want to set yourself. If you find that you can't work out, but you walk a lot, why not setting yourself either a distance target, or even, it could be climbing a mountain that is achievable for you and your fitness level. Bear in mind that you can improve. That's what I need to focus on, a healthy mind. I don't know where from, but it goes something like healthy body equals healthy mind, or healthy mind equals healthy body. I guess it works both ways. It really does. But it goes back to working on that mindset of, okay, if you start looking after yourself, guess what? Everything else just feels a little bit brighter and a little bit better. If you start prioritizing yourself, everything just becomes a little bit easier. You become lighter, you feel happier, you feel fresh. When we feel like there's no me time in there, when you're doing everything for everybody else, it just feels like you're on a treadmill and you can't get off it, or one of those hamster wheels, and you're just running around it, and you just, that's why it's so important that you prioritize you. It is, honestly, it's the number one thing that I would love you all to walk away from this going, right, I'm going to write down exactly what I want. What is making me feel rubbish right now? What do I want to change? Okay, if it's I want to lose weight, how am I going to do that? My lifestyle is this. Okay, what is achievable in my lifestyle? Long-term goal, set yourself that long-term goal, whether it's a challenge, whether it's I want to, if you've got a business, saying, right, I want to have X amount of clients, something realistic, but it gives you that focus of going, okay, what do I need to then do it? And you can then suddenly start brainstorming off that. I need to promote myself more. I need to get my face on Instagram a little bit more and tell my story behind my brand, because I've been holding myself back. And that is it. You're the only person who's going to hold you back from achieving anything. Imposter syndrome attacks us all, but use it as a positive. And if you find yourself getting it, step back. Okay, if you find yourself you're going down that rabbit hole of not feeling good enough, bear in mind everybody is showing their highlight reel. Okay, and guess what, I spoke to a very good friend of mine. She's got 484,000 followers, and she was like, do you know what, they're only there for this thing, and actually I'm struggling to reach my client base. So don't care about how many followers you've got. If you're running a business, focus on providing value, talking to your clients, and making sure that every content you create is, I've gone off tangent, I know, but I just thought I'd share this. Every content you create is talking to that target audience. So if it's a business thing that you want to do, or if you're sitting here thinking, I'd love to do this, I haven't done it yet, I want to do a business, or I want to learn a new language, I want to just spend my evenings doing something where I feel motivated and I feel strong and I feel better about myself, do it. Sign up to that thing that you've been fearing. Once you party with that money, it kind of makes you go, oh, I better do this now. So feel that positivity from tonight and think about what you've been putting off and off and off and off and off and off, because it's going to be something. And if it's that you've but what I will say, if it's a weight loss thing, say, for example, I'm sorry if anyone is a part of these, but if it's those slimming clubs that make you stand on the scales at the end of each week, and you've been with it a year or so and you are not seeing those results, it's for a reason. So if you've been doing something and you haven't been seeing your results, you need to change it up, okay? There's a reason that is happening, and there's a reason why they keep on taking everyone's money each month and you're not getting results. Do something you believe in. Research the trainer that you're going to, just because you see someone losing loads of weight because they're skipping, for example, doesn't mean you'll enjoy it, and doesn't mean you will get the same results, because they might have quit their job and they're skipping for 7 hours a day, which isn't achievable. So it's looking at where you can make those small changes in your life, where you can create those habits. That High Five book is great. Okay, so that's the High Five Habit, Untethered Soul. Reading these books really can change your mindset. And I was never someone until recently that would pick up these books. So I'm coming from a place of complete understanding. And it really does. It really just makes you spin stuff on your head. Has anybody got any questions or anything? It's not easy to make changes, and it's not easy to make things. They say habits take 90 days to form. So think about it. If after 2 weeks you're then like, oh, you've got to keep going. Okay, you've got to push through that boundary. Remember your why. So have that on a post-it note, have it on your screensaver on your laptop, have it on a mirror, have it in your kid's bedroom. Remember your why, and your why needs to be the reason that keeps you going when you don't want to, it's your motivation, it's your purpose. I know my daughter's been a massive why, but what's now trumped that is me being happy again. And it's so important that you are happy, finding your happiness in yourself and building that self-care routine where you're like, do you know what, I'm doing this for me. And remembering who you are is so important. A good cry, what if you can't cry? It's challenging. Do you know what? I would suggest, if you're not already, therapy. I have a therapist. It's just talking it through, and suddenly you're like, there's probably a block there, if I'm honest. There's probably something in your life that you've parked, which you don't realize, that inner child, potentially. It might be a traumatic experience as an adult, or something you've gone through where you've gone, I don't want to feel like that. I'm closing that chapter without healing from it and resolving that trauma. So what you've done is you've created a little block. And I think by talking through it with a professional, you might just suddenly realize, and then those floodgates may suddenly open, is what I would say. But my Instagram is at I am Nicole Chapman, and if I've got a program starting, which you get one-to-one support with me, called The Power of Mum, but it's also Power of Parents. I've got so many dads doing it too. It's a strength training program from beginners to advanced. The difference is you'll be lifting heavier weights, you'll be challenged. It starts the 28th of February if anyone wants to do it. But my inbox, more importantly, is always open. So if you ever want to message me, if you're feeling rubbish, I will always get back to you, I promise. If you've got any questions or you just want to chat, message me, okay? You're not alone. And build up that support network. This community is great. I love it. And thank you so much for inviting me on to talk to you guys tonight. I hope you've taken something from it. And yeah, I've really enjoyed it.